Tesla Semi officially enters Stepchild mode. This is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Thanks once again for joining us. If this is your first time, welcome. If you're a repeat visitor, welcome back. We also want to thank our Patreon supporters. Your support is greatly appreciated and makes a huge difference in the viability of the channel. So, we like to do at least one semi show a week, and we actually have a couple backed up right now, but the sort of stepchild mode seemed to be appropriate, and that's what we're going to be covering today. So what really prompted the beginning of this show as a topic is that when Elon delivered the news of the newest semi, what he pointed out was that we're in really great shape right now, and Pepsi is getting deliveries of the first vehicles. Now, the bombshell was that while he announced the delivery, he tweeted that the 2170 would be the battery still used by the semi, not the 4680, which is, in theory, it's a better form factor for a number of reasons that Elon talked about during Battery Day. So this raised a really weird question that nobody seems to have been asking, which is, the vehicle has been delayed since 2017. It's now 2023, and there's been no upgrade of the batteries. So that vehicle from 2017 was so good that 5 years later, it's still state of the art. But in the tech world, the chips that are running that vehicle are considered basically ancient history. So the question is, why is that? What's going on, etc., is the whole question. As you may recall, the 5,000 or so vehicles that have been already paid for by customers were due in 2019. Now, based on everything we seem to be hearing, Pepsi was like, look, the vehicle is at least 3 years late, if not 5. And as far as we're concerned, we're going to sue to get our money back if you guys don't perform. The only obvious answer, and I've surveyed some of our Tesla friends, etc., seems to be perhaps that there are some battery shortages where keeping the vehicle sales count up sort of validated why the vehicle might be late. And we were under the impression that the switch to the 4680 was a big variable in this. Regardless of which one it is, we can see what the stated outcome is. In my notes here, I have, let us digress to how things work at Tesla. Elon loves really cool tech. He's also partial to certain cars which seem to be his favorite children for a different reason. The first Model 3 was delivered to his home. He almost bankrupted the company to add the gull wings. The hatred of the Model Y has seemed to deep. He predicted the Model Y would be the company's best seller, and it is. The hatred of Y is illustrated by the fact that he has never been photographed inside the car. So when traveling, he is only seen in the Model X. Having surveyed numerous Model X owners, what we learned was that many of them were trying to make sure they weren't in the car post warranty running out, because keeping the gull wings going could put somebody in bankruptcy, and we don't want that to be you. So Elon does love the car. He loves the form factor. It's just that it's extremely expensive, and after warranty, I don't think anybody's going to be able to own that thing. So the Semi is in strange mode. Elon explained that the Semi is a great vehicle, but that the anticipated unit count is rather low. Kind of like how the Roadster seems to have not come and may never arrive the way things are going right now, i.e. no updates and no meeting of deadlines. Now we have a production number for the quarter that's come out that does not include uh, many semis were made and sold, even though we know sales completion of 39 Pepsi vehicles was done. We also seem to know that the current production pace seems to be about 40 vehicles per month. This also brings up another question is, at 40 a month, even if you're sending a few over to be used to move cars around a Tesla and for other reasons, it seems to be time for this vehicle to start showing up at other sort of platinum reserved customers like Walmart or some of the other giant companies like FedEx and UPS. Um, Sorry, customers who have paid for the new semi already. It may not happen now and perhaps may not happen for a while. Our guess is a drafted lawsuit by Pepsi is what drove Tesla to make the delivery that they did for them. Um, how will the Tesla get to 50K run rate that Elon articulated that will happen in 2024? Well, if we're at 40 vehicles a month-ish and we maintain that pace into next year, and we have a $3.4 billion factory that will be built in the greater Reno area over the next 2 years, it's hard to imagine how the vehicle gets to 50,000 units per year, given that there is no factory that can meet that kind of production schedule. Elon's favorite semi position seems to be when it is racing a Cybertruck or other things, or people are getting to enjoy it as a very fast, big vehicle. When it comes to sort of putting a trailer on the back and moving it around, it doesn't seem to be his favorite or most enjoyable mode for the vehicle. As you saw with the Jay Leno show, he did have the vehicle sort of set up in racing mode, you know, the color red, you know, how the aerodynamically the vehicle was set up with the low front, high rear, you know, definitely set up in fun engineering mode, if you will. So these are some sort of general points that are out there for us relative to what's going on with the semi. Could this change? Absolutely. All we'd have to see is one new customer start having their small fleet of Teslas begin to operate. We kind of know who the priorities are. Anybody with 100 or more orders seem to be where the priority is. And those folks include Anheuser-Busch, different divisions of Walmart, etc. And have we seen any vehicles going to them in anywhere near the numbers with Pepsi? Nope. I also think that based on Pepsi's moves, they're likely to get the full complement of their 100 vehicles before the next customer base gets theirs, because then you could actually have the vehicles close enough to the factory that if any new problems come up, they could be addressed. So I definitely think that Tesla Semi is in, if you will, orphan or primarily more like stepchild mode, where we're being nice to that child, but the child's not being embraced in the same way that a parent might embrace his or her own children. And hence, it just seems like Elon is in a very strange mode when it comes to the Semi, and I guess for that matter, the Roadster as well, because we definitely haven't seen any customer deliveries on that one, even though it's still in development. One of the other question marks, and I'm hoping it'll be solved by the new opening of the plant in the old HP headquarters is how do you allocate your best engineers? So typically, if your best people have developed the product, it's going to have to keep going through a development cycle. But the priority for the best of the development team is always going to be, where are we going to get the most bang for the buck? And that would definitely be focused on improvement and forward trajectory of the Model Y, given that it's the #1 seller and it easily outsells everything else combined. So I kind of came up with this topic partially in hopes that we would get some answers that pop up at earnings relative to the ramp schedule for the Semi. But I have to say that the 500,000 square foot facility that we're seeing seems to have a 100, 300, 500 number of vehicles capable of being produced, but there doesn't seem to be a priority at Tesla in getting those vehicles out to customers who paid years ago and are stuck in, we have no idea when we're going to get our vehicle mode. And so this is the biggest thing, is that I think that if there had been consumers who hadn't received their paid-for vehicles in 5 years, I definitely think a large number of lawsuits, a class action, etc., would have been filed. But it seems as though most of the people who've sort of shown interest thus far, including Walmart, are willing to wait because the alternative solutions don't seem to be as solid as a Semi. So we really look forward to your comments on this. We're also hopeful that the Semi starts rolling at fully accepted child mode rather than stepchild mode that we've been seeing. This ends our formal discussion of the Semi for today. I wanted to review with you, obviously we have a number of health-related initiatives that we've put in our account. We have a list below that you can look at, but I also wanted to remind you that a critical portion of your health and mental health is going to be a 20-minute walk on a daily basis or 20 minutes of exercise, because I think if you read up on it, you'll be really surprised by the number of ways it positively impacts your life. Also, don't forget, no more than a salad prior to lovemaking. At any rate, this is Greg for Teslafaninsight. Thanks once again for joining us. Tschüss, German, au revoir, French, Lehit, Hebrew, Choda Hafez, Farsi, Tarazuche, Russian, Ni Hao Ma, Chinese, Konbanwa, Japanese, Namaste, Hindi. And in Jamaica, we say, enough respect, walk good, man. Thanks for joining us. And please take some time to share what you think of this stepchild mode that we seem to be in with the Semi. And the main reason is that if you go back and look it over, we've basically made no progress on the vehicle since 2017. And there's been all this time when we could actually have started production, and it hasn't occurred except for now. So at least it's happening, and let's enjoy what we have, but it'd be great to see, a real push for progress. Have a great day, and bye for now.